All right, here we go. Proverbs, chapter number 6.
Amen.
Amen.
Verse number 20 through verse number 22. Y'all got it this time? To those of you who are viewing us through YouTube, we had to make some corrections. So if our church seemed a little overzealous, it's because we just found the right passage for the lesson for the hour. Proverbs chapter number 6, verse number 20. If you have it, say amen.
Amen.
He says, my son, keep thy father's commandment, and forsake not the law of thy mother. And that shows you the power of family. You see, this young man had a father and he had a mother, which gives the child stability. You see, it's hard for a woman to raise a son by herself.
Amen.
It's hard when a father finds himself with his children and no outside help is helping him. It's a blessing when you have your mother and your father. And not just to have your mother and your father, but to have them or to know that they have a relationship with God. And some of us understand it, others don't quite comprehend based upon how we were raised. But I'm thankful today, even though my father has made his transition, his word still is in my heart.
Yes, sir.
His wisdom still speaks to my mind.
Well, sir.
And so he says, my son, keep thy father's commandment, and forsake not the law of thy mother. What I want you to do is bind. Someone say bind. Bind them continually upon thine heart, and tie them about thy neck.
Yes, sir.
When thou goest, it shall what? Lead thee.
Yes, sir.
And when thou sleepest, it shall keep thee. And when thou wakest, it shall talk with thee. Turn to somebody like you're upset and say, neighbor, you better pay now. Or you gonna pay later. Amen. For a few minutes, I want to just casually talk to you about the price of procrastination. It's not going to be long, and I know I've said that many times, and sun is going down. But really, it's just one or two main points. You either pay now, or you're definitely going to pay later. Nothing really comes out good when you procrastinate. I remember, because my father told me when I was 19, he bought me a bad sports car. That thing was out of sight. And one day I pulled up in the driveway, I was still living at home. I pulled up in the driveway, like I was doing something.
Yes, sir.
Y'all not getting that.
Yes, sir.
Oh yeah, and back in those days when you had a GTA Trans Am, which was the top of the line. Or you had an IROC Z.
Oh, yeah.
And the Mustangs. And we used to race at Belle Isle. Some of us got tickets and some of us got away. But I had a black GTA Trans Am. That thing was off the chain. I remember coming home one day and got in the backyard. I said, my father was sitting in the back on the porch just watering the grass. Had on dress socks. Shorts. And some sandals on. Just sitting there watering the grass. And I thought I was somebody. Before I turned it off, you know. And Pop looked at me. He said, I'm gonna tell you something. Every time you hit that gas, eventually you're gonna pay for it. I looked at him, I said, oh, what are you talking about? He said, oh yeah. Every time you hit that gas like that, sooner or later, you're gonna pay for it. The other day, I got in my car, and the engine light, or the oil light came on. When your oil light comes on, you can pretend you don't see it. And keep driving. You can unplug the bulb so they don't come on. But it doesn't solve the issue that you need to change your oil. Did you not know procrastination will cost you?
Oh, yeah.
Either you pay now or you're going to pay later.
Yes, Lord.
Before I got that car that I was just talking about, I had a car before that. Engine light came on. Oil light. I was just so happy to have the car, I just kept driving. Too cheap to go into the garage and pay for a $35 oil change. Y'all stay with me, I'm going to.
Yeah.
The light says you need to change your oil. And I just kept driving. This wasn't a brand new car, but it got me on my way. I fooled around and waited too late. And I blew a gasket. And honey, when I tell you what that costs, you can just go ahead and get you a new car. How do you procrastinate and ended up costing you more than it would have had you have done what the light instructed you to do? Are you following what I'm saying? Nothing comes out good when you procrastinate a thing, because at the end you will pay more. I want to read this again, make 1 or 2 points. The lesson is yours. Proverbs 7:6. All right, now you can't see my Bible. And my Bible, this has been holding me for years. And 7 is crossed over to 6. And the next thing I want to tell you about it being crossed over, at least I'm not that far away. You also got to know that I am preaching without notes.
That's all right.
And I'm determined to show us something in just a moment. Proverbs 6. Again, verse number 20. My son, keep thy father's commandment, and forsake not the law of thy mother. Now he says, bind them continually upon thine heart, and tie them about thy neck. When thou goest in, it shall lead thee. And when you go down to sleep, when you fall asleep, it shall keep thee. And when you wake up, it shall talk with thee. We're talking about pay now or pay later. This is costume jewelry. So if you try to jack me for this after service, you don't have yourself nothing. Costume jewelry is designed to make one think it is the real thing. And these are not diamonds, these are CZs. However, when this is bought, an expensive bracelet will have what is called two clasps. They have one that come down on one side when you put this in. They'll put a clasp on one side and one clasp on the other. Because the bracelet, let's pretend the real bracelet, is expensive. And as you go throughout your day banging the walls and on the computers, there may be a tendency for one of the clasps to break off. When you notice that, and you know how expensive the bracelet is, you go and just pay a few dollars to get the clasp back on.
That's good. That's good.
But what do you do when you procrastinate? And now the clasp that was there has now been broken off entirely. And you still holding on to one. And you keep saying, in time, I'm gonna go ahead and get this thing fixed. I gotta get this thing fixed. And then by the time you decide, you go somewhere and come home, and your wrist feels empty or naked. And you look down and see you don't have your bracelet. You don't have your bracelet because you were too cheap and you waited too long to get it fixed. So now, when you could have paid $50 for a clasp, you lost a $5,000 bracelet. Are you hearing what I'm saying?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I'm trying to make this plain. It's interesting when you take something like this to the store, the first thing the man says, you have a few diamonds missing. Would you like to have us replace them?
Well, sir.
And if you say, well, no, I have to bring it back, it's only a telltale sign that you don't have the money.
Yeah.
You bought something that needs to be fixed, diamonds are missing, and then you lost your bracelet because it was not clasped on with the two brackets.
Yes, sir.
Now then, same holds true with God's word.
Thank you.
I'm almost finished. The words that our fathers and our mothers taught us becomes just like a bracelet or a necklace that is so expensive that he wants you. There are over 30 times in the Old Testament that the word bind or fastened is used. The things, even when the high priest and the other priests had on their garment, There were certain things that was fasted down twice. Anytime it's fasted down twice, it shows you how expensive this thing is. So he tells the young man, let me tell you something. When I talk to you, don't think that my talk is cheap. When your mother talks to you, don't think that your mother is talking cheap. I need you to bind it around your heart. Bind it like a bracelet around your wrist. Bind it with double clamps, triple clamps behind the necklace, because wherever you go, I need this memorial to be on your chest. I need you to wake up with the word, go to bed with the word. I never want to see you without the word. Nothing is more tragic than you have on an expensive piece of jewelry that needed to be fixed, but you were so concerned about people seeing you in all your glitz and all of your bling, that while you were out there dancing, while you're out there having fun with the people, your bracelet came up missing. And had you fixed it, perhaps you still would have had it. I close with this, and I told you this is a lesson that's just really helped to stimulate us. Any one of you here today that has a problem with procrastination, I want you to come. Because nothing's good is going to come from that. Those of you who keep putting things off and putting things off, nothing is good. It's going to come from that. Every time you put a thing off and you decide to go back to do it, sometimes it's going to cost you more than it would have been had you handled your business. The words that my father spoke when he was alive, they're more powerful inside of me now that he is gone. And even during the day, I can feel his presence around me. And he says to me, tighten up the clamps. You can't afford to lose this. Someone says, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? I got some friends who told me a couple of years ago when they were still out there in the world. One of the guys went to a club and lost a $50,000 Rolex watch. One of the girls who were up entertaining him, she saw the watch, but she also saw that the clamp had came loose. And so while she was entertaining him and rubbing his hand and rubbing his arms, while he was half intoxicated, her hand went down, moved the watch, and he went home naked. And it was not until the morning that he became sober and noticed what was valuable is gone. Let me tell you how the devil works. You gotta be careful about your surroundings. Because the devil even has the power to make you lose a few diamonds. And he has the power to see your class is not working properly. And just when you were procrastinating, I gotta get this thing fixed, the enemy came right in and stripped you of something valuable. Some of you know right now I should be in the Word a little bit harder than I've ever been. Some of you know right now I've lost a few diamonds in my life. I don't mean physical diamonds. I've lost some very valuable things that has kept me this far. And you cannot afford to lose not only the word from your mother or your father. You cannot afford to lose the word of the Lord. Let's give God the praise.